reach out to me.
It hits again. Kevy, he's done it one more time.
The Chaos Storm! Claire jumps in with the Grand Slam! But in a three-man moonfall, it's just lights out for Direwolves, just like that.
The showstopper. Look at the backline. It's getting melted.
Doing something right now. Sonic Wave is there. It's getting lower and lower. Oh! They've stolen it! Mammoth have got the Baron. It's gonna fall on down. It's just too much damage. Rest in peace.
I was so sad that I had to spend a whole 12 hours away from the LCO. But we're back for another day. It's week 6, day 3, and we've got a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of action in store for potentially the final Super Week here on the LCO. And you know what that means? It's the first day of round 3 of the round robin. Round 2 finished yesterday, so let's have a quick look back at what happened before we jump on into today's action.
Northlet's hungry to take him down. He might just actually kill him. Yes, Kraken Slayer OP flashing away. He's excited, and he is outplaying.
Even gets the CC off on Kyose.
Dive is huge. Can they? Oh no!
Oh no, he didn't press ult.
Instant cleanse, as well as the status effect. And I don't know if this is a fight you want, man. If you've got to run away, surely Event Horizon is nice. To go for the one-shot to Kevy, but it's Deja Vu. He gets away again. Look how low Mayfun is. But in Kisei hits him with the Una reverse card. It's a double kill for Kisei here. He's opened up a top lane inhibitor, and that is a successful in there, unless this over here has anything to say.
Oh
From
my god.
Golden at the absolute clutch man, his Falcon being rooted as a result. His bounty's been claimed. The shutdown's been observed and taken by nobody, but he's going to die in the process of it. Yuri answers back boats as multiple members in the air. It's going to be a 4v4. The Drake is total suspension. It's actually going to be picked up by the side of Peace as Appy finds one and Chain finds the second.
LCO, home of the fattest replays, the fattest Menulog meal times, and the fattest Mac. But also the fattest hysterics too, because the big man, he's here to celebrate a beautiful Wednesday with us. Mate, you're actually looking pretty skinny. I'm sorry that I brought you in.
I'm not though. I think I've put on the most weight being back in Oz for now a year, man. I'm putting on the pounds again. So thanks anyway, Mac. You compliment does me well as I join the LCO for the first time, dude. I've been waiting years for this, and alongside both of you as well. What better company could I have?
Look, World Compliment Day was yesterday, so that's the only one you'll get from me. I don't actually know what day it is today, but we got Rusty back as well. Rusty, how you feeling after your lovely day on the sidelines?
Yeah, it was good to have a day off, Mac. It's always fun for someone who's always, heavily involved in the LCO to get days to just watch as a spectator and sit in Twitch chat and flame with everyone. So yeah, it's good to be back. I think I'd rather be on this side of the fence if I had to choose.
Beautiful. Well, I'm glad to have you both here with me for Menulog Mealtime. I'm glad you guys are in chat as well. You want to know why? Because you can win $30, a $30 voucher for Menulog. To win it, to enter, just type MENUPOG in chat and you can go into the running. But you got to get it in now. You got to get it in the next minute or two. Then it's going to be drawn and there'll be one winner. You have to be from Australia. And you can get yourself a cheeky bit of dinner. Now, speaking of dinner, I'm hungry. And look, all right, where are we? Jake, pick a country, please.
All right. We're an island. Take us there.
Ireland.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
look, I love potatoes. I love a bit of lunch.
Good
So
start.
we've got $30. Are we just buying $30 worth of potatoes? That's the question, Rusty.
I was thinking beer. Sorry, Rusty. You go.
No, you're right. I don't even know what, because we usually talk about foods. The second you said island, I was like, I don't even know, man. Like,
Haggis, or is that
Yo,
Scotland? I can't
That's
remember.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Potatoes, he was right.
The
Do
neighbours,
Yeah, you
right?
got potatoes. What else is there?
you want me to take us somewhere else? Do you want me to get us back on the plane? Do you want to go somewhere else?
Sausage.
I
Yeah,
like
let's
Ireland.
jump on the plane. Screw,
Yeah.
screw Ireland. Sorry, anyone out there that's Irish.
We're
I'm
in
actually
Japan.
Irish,
We're
so-
in Japan. How about that? I didn't know that.
Japan? Oh, sushi. That's all I'm getting. What about you guys?
Rusty.
Hard to look past sushi, isn't it? I mean, it's just in Japan of all places. Like, it'd be rude not to.
Yeah.
I actually, low key, all the vending machine food imaginable.
Yes.
That's immediately where my mind went.
That,
Okay.
and also on the side of the road, okonomiyaki or takoyaki, like the octopus balls. with the fresh mayo and the bonito flakes. Like, man, when it's piping hot, that's the dream. That's what I miss most about Japan, actually.
Do octopi have genders?
I don't know. Not after you eat them, that's for sure.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Probably doesn't matter. Now, look, hopefully one of you guys won that $30 voucher so you can buy yourself some octopus balls or something when you're in Japan next. Now, look, let's jump on into the leaderboard. That's it for Menulog Mealtime for today. And look, Jake, you are the fresh face here. But before I throw you the reins, have a look at that. The Chiefs, they're highlighted because they are the first team to qualify for a playoffs position. No matter what happens from here, they will be making it in that top 5 area. So, a little round of applause for them.
Yeah.
But also, Jake, tell me, what's going on here? What's interesting to you? You know, it's your first time on the show.
Yeah, apart from watching from the sidelines and watching Chiefs be dominant, like, I'm really excited about this team. I think Arthur and Topoon are some of the best in their role. Like, I watched Tally grow up in the league, Rays as well, going back and forth. Like, this is so exciting to watch. I love Peace as well. Let's be real. Coming from the LPL, this team resonates with me a lot. And I'm kind of excited because there is some strict circumstances where if they win today and Dial take a loss, they can always secure themselves up with the Chiefs too. So that takes my interest at least for today.
And look, that was like, I was hoping there'd be a bit more separation with the leaderboard yesterday, but nothing changed from the start of the day to the end. Everyone stayed in the same positions on the ladder. So let's have a look at today's games and see what could change, because it is finally time for all these teams to go head-to-head for a third damn round. So 6 p.m. we're going to be starting things off with Peace up against the Tusk squad. Mammoth, Tusks up in the chat. 7 p.m. Couple of hoppers there for Kanga up against Pentanet. And I don't know how this one's going to go, because Kanga have started to find some form and Pentanet still sort of shaky. You know, they can play out of their minds on a good day. But again, they're that team that loves the aggression, loves to take a fight. And Kanga, we'll see if they're going to be able to deal with that one. Gravitas and Direwolves at 8 p.m, which again could be a banger because both these teams are really starting to find some form towards the end of the split. And 9 p.m, the game that I've been waiting for, Order and the Chiefs. Let's see if Order's going to be able to get some revenge for last time, or if Chiefs are just way too solid at the moment. Rusty, are you interested in any game here in particular?
Yeah, no, none of them. No,
Okay.
absolutely. I'm interested in all of them, Mac, for very different reasons. I think one of the I guess the cool narratives that I have for this week as a whole, week 6 of the LCO, is that we've seen a resurgence. And this is to your point, the standings didn't change.
Yeah.
That means the bottom teams are still getting wins, right? So that's a really interesting thing for me to look at coming to today's games on, can we actually continue to see a surge from the bottom of the ladder, or will it just be the top finding their form again?
That is a great question, and hopefully we'll figure that one out over the next 7 game days, because we have to. We need to crown 5 little champions, 5 little playoff position teams to make it to the playoffs, right? So, you know, hey, Jake.
Yeah. Hey.
I didn't ask you. Which game are you most excited for?
I'm actually excited for the third one. I'm glad you did ask me. Dolls versus Gravitas. People will be looking at me like, oh, man, it's middle of the pack versus bottom. I think Gravitas are exciting. Picking up their big win up against Peace before. Remember, it was that Kindred top game. We had a bit of a laugh at it. But I think Gravitas really came out roaring, and that mid laner, man. It's one of the most exciting teams to watch because they are unpredictable. So I'm hoping the Dolls are ready and can kind of match the crazy drafting I'm expecting to see.
Ooh, speaking of crazy drafting, we have a little comparison here from OS, and where you've been casting mostly over the last couple of years is, of course, China over in the LPL. So, you want to take me through here and compare the pair?
Yeah, and I want to chat about this with Rusty as well, because I think there are some similarities that more people will see between our two regions, right? And if anyone's tuning in for the first time, I've been with the LPL for now, this is the 4th year, and I've seen so many big changes come through, but in a meta where everything's been straightforward, where we have been playing on 12.2 over in the LPL, things like Gwen and Jinx being consistent, they're being some of the biggest picks as well over there, and just through the laning phase and the aggression that comes through from our junglers, I feel like snowballing picks are just that much bigger, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, the easy comparison point is the drafts look similar, right, for presence of champions, but playstyle has always been very different. I think that LCO aspires to be the LPL in the way that they can play early aggressive playstyles, and I know that hasn't changed since I was there. Jake, for many years now, they've always been aggressive, and I think that's one of the differences with, like, the highest played champions on a percentage front, like Nautilus 49%, very good dive champion, right? The LPL is extremely proficient at pushing tempo and diving with mid-jungle roaming. So, like, the LCO does aspire to have that type of style. Peace is a team that does that. I know you have an affinity for them, but all about dives, and that's why the champions can sway a little bit more. Where like LCO, for example, has Veigar as a pretty high prio champion, just because you can scale.
And look, I need to talk about the sample size as well. Although, you know, LPL, they've got more than 3 times as many teams in the league, and it's been going a little longer as well, which is why they've played 232 games. But you're looking at, like, the presence up top, 88% on the Gwen, over 232 games. And that's just absolutely insane. Also, I believe LPL's still playing on an older patch, right, Jake?
We moved to 12.4 only yesterday, but may as well have been playing on the old patch. We played on 12.2 for about a month and a half.
Okay.
When Chinese New Year comes through, we don't actually advance like the... I'm not sure how it technically works, but we sit on the old patch for quite a while, and then we make the big leap forward. So 12.4 as of yesterday and moving forward, which is why, again, it's kind of interesting to see the comparison when you guys have been on 12.3 and 12.4 for a little while now.
Yeah, so that could also, you know, be a reason for the slight shuffle in the different presence of different champs as well. I guess we'll see once LPL jump into 12.4 and see how that goes. But look, Jake.
Oh, what is it?
I'm about to break, you know, right? It's initiation time. It is time
Oh,
for
man.
the LCO champion conundrum.
Is today the day luck's with you? Is it now your life could renew? Then you must play the game, cause I have to proclaim life's a game of chance.
Oh my god.
Okay, ladies and
Frankenstein.
gentlemen, we're really going to be putting Jake's knowledge to the test, all right? He's a bit of an expert of the LPL. He's also, you know, he heralds from this region here in Oceania. So, we're going to play Guess That Draft. Essentially, what it's going to be is we got drafts that are going to be put at the bottom on the lower third here, and you got to remember kind of what game it is. You don't have to get the teams, but I'll give you bonus points if you do remember. And you have to pick if the draft was a draft we saw here in the LCO or one that you guys saw over on the LPL. So let's kick things off with the first one. Let's have a look at what it is, what kind of champs we got going here. All right, talk me through it, Jake.
Ooh. Okay, so first thing, Twist of Fate wasn't as big in LPL as it was in LCK versus other regions. I don't know if you guys touched it a lot. However, the thing that tells me that this could be LPL is the fact that we have Jace versus Renekton. Jace was let through a lot in 12.2. Is Rusty helping me here? Is he allowed to?
I'm happy to jump
Rusty
in. I
can definitely help.
I don't
Depends on
see
if-
this ever being LCO because there's a Twisted Fate. Like,
Yeah.
full stop.
Okay, well, there you go.
If there's a Galio versus a TF matchup, usually the person who plays TF in the LCO also plays Galio. So there's never that matchup very often.
Okay.
I'm going to say as well, like, this is LPL. That looks like... It doesn't look like Weibo Gaming. The Shy hasn't played much Jace this split.
I'm not up to date on the current LPL, but this is like screaming Team WE from like last year or the year before on one side against like an RNG on the other, you know what I mean?
Lock in the region, then we'll get bonus points for the team. So,
Rusty, you happy for LPL?
Yeah,
I'm happy for LPL.
if it's LCO, I'll be surprised.
well, good. You're not going to be surprised because it is LPL. Congratulations, Jake. There's 1 point, and now
Gwen Van Helm.
there's
Ooh,
2
we got
bonus.
WE.
Okay, you can see the teams.
Rusty.
So, you get no bonus points for this one. Next one, though,
you're
I'll
right.
tell you ahead of time.
Well done, Rusty.
And then
That's
you
good.
can try to guess what the teams are, just for the bonus points. All right? So, all right, jumping into draft number 2.
I love the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music in the back. It's great. Oh.
This
Where are
better
we?
not be the game I'm thinking of.
I think... see, the thing is, there's so many similarities again, but Kog'Maw Lulu, like, hasn't been played. Like, I've looked at so many games. I don't think Kog'Maw Lulu has been played in the LPL. I think this is your region. I think this is LCO.
This is 100% the Gravitas. I think it's Gravitas, the Frostfire, Kog'Maw build, I think, because it's
Who
got
they-
the weak side on top lane. They always have a weak side top laner. They tried to pick a hyper carry, he built tank, and then they just lost.
Who
And I
they
think it's
play?
against Peace.
Who did they play? Oh, you're on the money. Look at that. Beautiful. That's 3 points.
Wow.
Well, I'll give Rusty 2 points.
Nerfing.
Rusty 2 points.
To
Jake,
be
you
fair,
get one.
that's the only Lulu cog you've ever seen, so it was pretty easy
That's
to remember
true.
that one.
Very
But you
true.
got WE before as well.
Yeah,
Let's be
true,
real. You're
true.
on.
Did
He
you
should
get
be
WE?
100%.
All right,
He did.
yeah.
He got WE. I
Could've
think
been
that
extra
counts because,
point.
like, the 17 teams getting one of them when it's a completely different WE
That's a good point.
is also impressive.
Yeah, that's. I'll give you double points. Rusty, you just
I
get.
can't
you
name
just get
current
points
player
out the
on
wazoo.
WE.
Now let's
Yeah,
jump
but
on
well
into draft number 3.
I like this.
What
game.
region are we in?
Oh, okay. That looks like top esports on the left. Now, we're playing a lot of Gragas top in a response to Gwen. Again, Renekton's not heavily played. However, I know you guys are playing Tryndamere solo lane.
Yeah.
Now, oh no, I know this game. This is Gravitas versus Pentanet. This is LCO. This is where Refury was mid and Pentanet couldn't play Corky Jinx. Am I correct, Rusty?
I think you're close. I can't say for certain because to me the Nidalee Renekton is
Oh,
very
not Gravitas. It's Mammoth, I think.
very peace. If I was to pick
Sorry.
an LCO team. But you've got like the mid lane matchup. You're absolutely correct. Corky Jinx was also Peace's composition when they beat PGG.
They play Nidalee. Because that's an...
Balkan plays AP junglers. If
you-
we're going the LCO route, is there, like you said, top esports? So is that a...
Yeah, that would be a... Xiao Peng came in for a little bit and he played a bit of the Nidalee. And I remember, because remember the top lane at the moment was zoomed for a tiny bit and has been wayward.
Boys, 30 seconds. That's all you got. Come on.
And then Jackie Love, of course, he's going to play Aphelios, but
Where are we? Who is it?
that top esports
I'll back
game-
you for region because it could
I-
be both. These are just identical.
I
but-
think it's you
10
guys. I
seconds.
think it's LCO. I want to
Okay.
say LCO, but it's up to you.
LCO. All right, lock her in. And what teams?
I'm gonna say PGG Peace.
Yep.
Just because of the Corky Jinx on the red side.
Good.
I think PGG Mammoth, but yeah, Rusty's probably right.
Congratulations. You got your first L on the board. It is actually...
Of course.
Oh no!
Oh, it is
LPL.
TT.
And it
Rare
wasn't
Adam.
even top esports, it was
And
Rare
TT.
Adam. Oh, and I cast that game. I literally cast that game. And I hated it. I did color casting for the one and only game of the split.
I
Beautiful.
didn't think it was the right draft that lost on the other
Look,
side. I just couldn't think of where it was
You
from.
guys
I mean, I
were
couldn't,
getting,
I just remember.
you guys were getting too close when you noticed the Nidalee was like an imposter. So I was like, I'm gonna put some
Yeah.
pressure on you with the 30 seconds and force some mistakes there.
Nicely
Now,
done, Mac.
let's jump
was
into draft number 4. Tell me about this one. Do you remember it? Have you casted it, or were you in the wrong region?
Malphite versus Jace is
Oh, I
very
know
much
this
an
game.
LPL thing
I
going
know
at
this
the
game.
moment. But are you guys also playing? Are you playing a lot of Malphite into Jace?
I'm gonna let you think this one through. I know this
Oh.
game.
So you know this game. Now, if you know this game, like you're
I
giving
watched
away that
both
could be
regions.
LCO. However, the reason I know this is not LPL is because Rel is only being played by Cold as a response. Rel's being played as a response into Samira. No, with Samira as a bottom lane. OMG only played it once, so I know this is LCO, first of all.
Okay. I'll give you half a point. Now, what teams?
I'm pretty sure this is Chiefs versus Kanga.
On the money. He's so good.
I was
He's
confident
so
getting
bloody
2 solo
good.
kills top
I'm not
lane
even going
against
to
the
make him clock
Jace.
it in because you had it first damn go.
You want
so-
details? We got details. I think Jace did 48% of their team's damage in an L and got solo killed twice in lane. So
I just remember Tapoon just mad knockups on that Malphite. He was just doing so much work. Man was insane that game.
This is a great game back. This
so
is amazing. I feel
1
like we
point.
could just make a show out of this.
And look, we have one more. So
Yeah,
the
another
show's
game.
almost over for the LCO champion conundrum. But let's bring up the draft, have a look at what the 5th and final draft is. Jake, what is it? Where are we? What teams?
Graves Jungle is not an LPL thing at the moment.
is that a Weibo comp on the left?
But, yes, SOFM. So I think I need to start looking at the bands because that looks like the same like WE draft on the right.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure this is LPL.
I think it is.
Just from the champions that are picked,
yeah.
including Vex versus TF. The only team I think that's actively vexing is
I think you might be
Kanga.
spot on.
Could be
That
Kanga.
looks like an Angel Vex. Or that's a V5 draft. But having said that, Caster on Graves, I don't think he's played Graves this split.
that was why I said is it Weibo, not V5, right? Because SOFM I'm sure would have a crack at it.
Yeah.
All right, let's lock in a region.
Okay. I do want to go with Rusty and say LPL. He's been carrying us, so
All right, big
Oh,
thumbs up on that one. So you got the
LPL?
region right.
Okay.
Yep, there's 1 point.
17 teams. I'm gonna go with your first guess of Weibo. I think
Okay.
that's I like that because that suits right. Huanfeng on Jinx, on Nautilus. On the other side, that looks a little bit like a V5 draft as well. But
They played recently as well, didn't they?
yeah, Weibo versus V5. I believe they played recently. There's too many games. There's too many games. I'm not actually sure because they're top of the
Hecarim is a
table.
more recent pick, I feel like, as well.
Yes,
so
and Caster has been getting it banned against him for
do
a
we just
reason.
lock it in then?
I think V5 versus
Right.
Weibo is the best guess.
Yep, 10 seconds. You locking that one in?
I
Can't
think
come up
so,
with a
if Rusty's
better option.
happy.
Yeah.
All right, well, incorrect. It was JD Gaming up against Invictus
Oh,
Gaming for
really?
week 6. But you got the region right, so big dubs, big dub. I reckon that's pretty good.
Hope
You got
jinx.
look 4 of 5 regions
That's hard.
correct. 4 of the 5 regions, and look,
I'm
you
wearing,
almost
I'm
got,
wearing a JDG jersey as well. That's kind of embarrassing.
Uh-oh.
you got the teams for like the most part as well. That's absolutely insane. Congratulations, gentlemen. That was a very good effort. And Jake, look, you're initiated. You can continue to cast today. I'm not going to kick you
Thanks,
off.
dude.
There you go.
You had no backup anyway. Let's be real. Come on.
Well, I've been waiting for my moment. That's all I'm saying. Now, look, let's jump on into From the Fans. You guys at home, you've been providing the content, and I heard we've got a lot today. So we want to see your memories. You know, we want to see you guys touching grass. And I think that, look, what that means is we want to see where you've been around the world, outside, enjoying the sunlight, which around Australia at the moment we don't have too much of. There's just bloody clouds everywhere, rain all over the place. So, look, let's have a look at some grass. Let's relive some memories before, you know, we weren't allowed to leave the damn country. So here's Rogue. Oh, I did my share last year. Man was just bloody traveling around Europe.
Nice
Camera
views,
shy.
isn't it?
Who
Yeah.
took the photos, though? That's the question. What do you reckon, Rusty?
He's a little bit camera shy, isn't he, Rogue?
Maybe he's just edgy. Maybe he's just real edgy.
Look
Yeah,
at that
nice pictures,
tower.
though.
Look at that hotel.
I
The
think
river.
Oh, how great photos. Where'd he go? Because
I
we know
think
he was
he's just
in
in
France.
front of a green screen. I'm looking at some inconsistencies with the lighting in some of these photos. Now let's jump on over into the next set of memories.
Very critical.
Thank you very much, Rogue. Rusty, oh look, it's you.
Yeah.
All right, talk me through this
Oh,
one.
I didn't think this one would actually come up. Okay, so in 2018, the entire LPL English team that lived in Sydney moved to China. We were in Shanghai, and this was we woke up at 4 a.m. in the morning, got on a bus
Wow.
in 1 degree weather, went for a 4-hour drive to like a fake, like a Hollywood Chinese temple, if that makes sense. And so
Yeah.
like all of this is fake, but looks exceptionally real. And we filmed an intro video to welcome us to the LPL, and I spent 4 hours, maybe like 3 hours preparing, doing Tai Chi with fish. In 1 degree weather, freezing. There was literally like 6 different assistants that had 2 hot water bottles at any one time that were hugging us between takes.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was that cold.
So were you like in the water doing Tai Chi with
No, not in the
fish?
water. It was actually just like unbelievably cold. The wind was like going straight through. That's like there may be layers there, Mac, but it's all thin.
It was a cool video though. Let's be real. Like
was a
if anyone
very cool
remembers it, it
video.
was a really cool video. So it was worth it.
I've got some bad news, guys, and it's that's the last one we get to look at. But I know we've got bloody so much more lined up. However, we've got to start talking shop. We've got to start talking about the damn game. So it's going to be Peace and Mammoth to kick things off here for match number 1 on day number 3, week number 6 here on the LCO. And we got Peace, which is probably the closest thing to an LPL team we have in Oceania. So Jake, talk me through what you like about this team.
Yeah, really feels the aggression that I get from an LPL team, right? When I've been tuning into the LCO, I've been watching this team and thinking, man, they want to play bloody, they want to play early. I've also watched a lot of these players grow into the scene. Tien, I remember back in the OCS days on Mprox. Lisa, the same as well.
Yeah.
Uppy, a split afterwards. And Beats, who was in the open ladder at the time before I left over to China. So a lot of these people had that skill set, and I'm glad that they finally made the step. But, you know, it's been a while, but still seeing them in front of me is really good. And Mac, this is just the team that I think is one of the best in the league and should consistently hold that top 2 spot.
Mate, look, they're making you roll back the years. And speaking of rolling back the years, we got some youngsters over on Mammoth as well. So, Rusty, talk to me about this team and tell me what they can do to take a dub today.
Yeah, I mean, in strong contrast to Hysteric's point here on years of tenure for the players on the side of Peace, Mammoth came in together almost as a 5-stack this year from competing in the amateur ladder together. So not a lot of experience backing the players, but a really strong work ethic and a lot of improvements over time. A couple of noticeable issues for this team that we'll be able to address, you know, through the game and as we see them play throughout the league. But those things are to be expected from a brand new squad, and we have to really compliment the effort, the work ethic that they're putting into their improvements, and how serious they do seem to be about making those waves. And look, they've got wins on the board. They've been making splashes against some of the best teams on the league, so can only compliment them so far.
And look, let's talk about their champ picks, because yesterday they had some rare ones. Aatrox, LeBlanc, and Rel coming in to the fray, and it worked. It worked so damn well, didn't it?
For Peace, yeah, I mean, those were some oddball picks a little bit, but I really like their strategy overall. because what they did is they picked a winning mid-jungle 2v2 and then banned out their opponents. They were playing Kanga at the time, and they just stopped Fido from having an actual fighting chance. And Peace, you will note this, I feel like, very actively now in watching their games. When they win lane, they are a completely different team. Like, Peace winning lane is the best team in the league probably right now, but Peace, when they lose lane, struggles. So I really like that draft.
Okay, now look, let's talk about the ADCs, because if Mammoth is going to have a chance, Voice has to be one of the key performers, but the same can be said for Peace, right? Even though they've got strength in every single role across the Rift, you're looking at Cheon, because he has been a consistent performer for Peace day to day. Now, look, you may be familiar with these guys, Jake, especially Cheon. What do you like about him, and how do you think he's going to fare against Voice today?
I mean, I think it's going to be a really great matchup, because when Rusty and I were talking, he was running me through how Mammoth like to play the game, right? Re-Fury, and then if Re-Fury doesn't have a lead, we look especially towards that bottom lane. For Peace, as Rusty also just mentioned, it's about the laning phase that comes through. And if Cheon and Beats have a really good laning phase, then he's always ahead. He's always in a really dangerous position. And the stats might sell it, but I think just watching the gameplay in the first 15, 20 minutes of this bottom lane, it's kind of scary, and it's the biggest thing that teams have to watch out for.
It's absolutely insane how much more damage to objectives we're seeing coming through from Cheon. And Peace, look, I guess like average game time is roughly the same as Mammoth. I'll have to double check that one. But why do you think that is, Rusty?
I feel like for Peace, they just play pretty calm and casual once they have the lead, and they never really look like throwing that one away, where I feel like Mammoth do have tendencies to perhaps lose quite fast when they're losing, which is something that would equalize that average game time a little bit. And you'll find often with a lot of the lower ranked teams, winning takes a bit longer perhaps than the average.
Yeah, you could also see like average damage there from Voice. Overall, average damage share was a little bit higher than Cheon. So you can see, look, macro-wise, maybe Peace just have that dialed in a little more. Now, let's bring Kitty into the conversation, because I miss her. I want to see how she's doing. How you doing today, Kitty?
Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. It's going to be the last day for this Super Week, and you guys have been talking about a lot of LPL, and I'm also a huge LPL fan, and someone who also watches a lot of LPL is Arpi, so let's drag him in for the interview. Hello Arpi, how are you feeling last day of week 6? Is it week 7? Week 7, sorry.
Oh yeah, it's pretty normal. It's nothing's like really special today.
Well, I just got word from production, it is week 6, my bad, but let's talk about your current statistics. So Peace currently have a 100% win rate when they're ahead in the early game, but it seems like that Peace also has a 0% win rate when you get solo killed in the mid lane. With playoffs just around the corner, what do you think you need to improve on the most to turn things around for Peace?
Yeah, that's pretty, like, that's quite obvious, right? Like, if I get solo kill, we are losing the game, so I'll try not let that happen. Yeah, I'll keep working on my laning phase, I guess.
Hopefully we do see more from you, but the most highly debated topic so far is who is the best mid laner in the LCO. You know, we have a lot of players retiring from last year, so who do you think is the best mid laner of LCO and why?
I think Yuri probably can close to me. I think like overall I should be the best mid laner. I'm just like not stable at the moment, but like those issues are like pretty easy to fix. I think I will be the best, and Yuri probably can come to second.
Hopefully we see another beast performance from you coming onto today. Well, thank you for the interview, Api, and best of luck in your match.
Thank you.
I wonder if Tally's got something to say about that one. You
So humble.
I guess
So humble.
we'll see. Look, he knows how to fix it, though. I think it's just confidence, right? And that's why Peace are good, because they are so damn confident in their gameplay that, you know, coming into the split, we're all thinking, oh, they're probably like a 3rd, 4th place team in here. And then you see them just doing the talking with the mechanics on the Rift. They were insane. Now, we have a Dare fan vote to get ready. You guys, look, predictions going to be ramping up pretty soon over on the top of Twitch chat there. Make sure you get those Twitch predictions in. You know, put those points on the line. You can win some, you can lose some, but you can have a lot of fun and be involved with the Dare fan vote. But we have our predictions to have a quick chat about as well. So let's see where we think this game's going to go, you know, as is expected. I've gone for the underdogs. So, Jake, look, welcome to the LCO. I'm
helping
digging a
you
hole.
hysterics.
Digging a big hole.
His stimmy.
His stimmy does not sound good.
Hysterics.
Skimsterics is a bit better. Yeah, easy. This was easy, Mac. Surely. I'm not sure where you're at, but this is pretty easy.
Look, I'm giving Mammoth that, like, you know, that 20% chance, which is still, you know, pretty low, but I think it's enough from what we've seen from Mammoth that if they do have, you know, all of the stars aligning, then they can make that draft phase happen. Even if they just have some kind of crazy draft, it seems like Peace, they know how to react to this anyway. Now, Kitty, I want to hear your thoughts on the matchup quickly before Champ Select's ready.
I think if Api gets solo killed in that mid lane by Refury, which we've seen tons of from him, it's going to be a really rough game for Peace, but I'm still going to stick with Peace winning tonight.
Okay, now, talk to me. I'm keen to watch this one from the side lanes. I'm keen to see Mammoth and just how much they've progressed, because we're going into round 3 now, and I feel like if there is a time for all of these teams at the bottom of the table to shine, it needs to be now. It needs to be going into the end of this week 6 Super Week, and then, you know, it's easy. It's like downhill run from here. Everyone just has those 2 games a week to prep for. So, do you think that's going to have much influence in the long run, Rusty?
I mean, I feel like Super Weeks always have an influence. One thing that doesn't ever get spoken about when it comes to practice, and this is something that I experienced when I was coaching with Super Weeks, is who do you actually scrim against in the lead up, right? There's 5 other teams now. Scheduling's suddenly way more difficult. You might be missing scrim blocks on days between weeks of practice. So going back to normality will be a big deal, let alone the prep and everything else that comes along with that one, of course, Mac. But yeah, for Mammoth, maybe it's an easier time during Super Week because Peace are preparing for extra team.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear, you know, different perspectives. We had a chat with Bio yesterday, and he was saying that he loves playing more League of Legends. He loves that extra day of games. He loves more stage games, more airtime, more playtime, and that's what a lot of these players at the top sort of strive for, right? Hysterics.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, momentum's something that's quite underrated. People talk about it a lot on broadcast, but keeping yourself flowing and keeping the games going, especially for bottom teams, talking about Mammoth, Gravitas, like, they're teams that right now are just trying to fix their own internal issues, let alone try to, you know, predict and adapt to teams they're going up against.
Okay, now, Kitty, you were watching that game we played earlier from the sidelines. Did you get the teams correct? Did you figure out what the drafts were before these guys? Because with the pictures, you were absolutely killing it yesterday.
Look, I'm going to be honest, I'm probably not as knowledgeable about draft as these two on my side, but I got one of them right. I believe it was the Mammoth game. I don't even remember anymore, but yeah.
Surely you got the Lulu
Mammoth
Cog
game.
one, Kitty.
Yeah, I wasn't looking.
Even I remember the
properly,
Lulu Cog. I couldn't remember the teams, but I remember it was the one where he just did the wrong build, and I was like,
Crossfire Cogmore.
That's it.
There was
Crossfire.
paragraphs in our
Now,
Discord talking about that.
Guys, I have some more from the fans to do because we're still getting the lobby ready, and let's have a look at what you guys at home have sent in and how much grass you've been touching. There's no grass here, serendipity. It looks like there's lights, but it looks like it's a lot of fun. What's this? Do you remember this, Rusty?
This 2019 MEO, right?
I would say so. OPL Finals 2019 in Melbourne.
Mammoth
Yeah,
Chiefs?
that's MEO.
Mammoth Chiefs? I think I do remember this one. I think this was the one I casted.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming you would. I think, like, other Jake, one of the 7 Jakes in esports was there as well,
right.
Spawn, before he left us, before he started his coaching career. Nick Boy, all that, and look, of course,
they did
the
face
cosplay
painting on
competition.
stage at this event. I remember this.
watching that. That was a lot of fun.
We weren't sure on the paint that was being used. It was a big mess, but it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of laughter. I mean, you can't ask for much more at a live stage, right?
Look, a good couple of memories. So, look, that was a great one. Thanks for that, Serendipity. We'll see if there is any more coming through. I believe we do have a few more to have a look at here. It looks like formal casting. Repping hosts League of Legends from atop the world at the Burj Khalifa. Where's that? Hysterics, you're cultured. Tell me.
I'm not cultured enough. I don't know. Rusty?
Is this Abu Dhabi? He's recently travelled over for an event, hasn't he?
I think he, went
Dubai.
over to Dubai.
Okay, we're on the path. We're on the path.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah, he recently travelled over for an event. I think he was the lone traveller of a bunch of people involved in casting and working on it. So he's very, very lucky with an amazing opportunity. So it's a really cool view as well.
I just want to put it out there. I too would love to go to Dubai at some point, or even just leave Australia for esports. It's a dream, man.
Remember when that happened?
It'll happen. No?
No. Sorry, Mac.
Anyway, we've got a few more to have a look at as well. So let's see what else has been sent in. Thank you for that one. Formal cast and Hissy over on the beach. Winter drums down the coast are very menacing.
I I believe that's a JoJo reference.
It is. It
Yeah.
definitely is.
I'm glad you said it. I wasn't going to confirm that one.
Where's
You're
So
way
Jojo?
hi,
above.
Who's
Hissy again.
Jojo?
Is that me announcing that I watch anime? Just saying.
It is. It is actually.
I think it was.
God, just say who's JoJo.
Who's JoJo?
Yeah, look, I'm more looking at the landmarks, trying to figure out what beach it is.
Yeah, which beach is it?
So it drives
Did we
down,
get any further info from his?
Well, it's like drives down the coast, and I'm looking because I grew up down the coast. I'm trying to figure out if it's one of my local beaches or not. It could be a bit further down because I am not familiar with that headland or like that beach. That's like a long beach too. You know, like a long flat beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm used to ones that have like the shorter beach. You know, a bit more of a sand dune going on.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, sorry, beach analysis, Mac. Yeah.
It's a long
Marine
flat
biologist, Mac. It's starting to come through. I did marine biology in year 11.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, I
Wow.
actually wanted to be a marine biologist. I used to be a lifesaver, like a
what
surf
happened?
lifesaver. I've moved away from the beach.
Oh, that'll do it.
that definitely
No
does
reason.
it. I do miss those times, but also, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for round 3 to commence. Are you ready to rumble?
Thank you, Mac, for whatever that intro was, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pick and Ban. As Mac said, we're entering round 3 here in the LCO. Mammoth on blue, Peace on red. Rusty, it has been 7 years since you and I cast together, and the last time the headset almost fell off, so we've started in a very positive way as we get into this Pick Ban.
I was thinking about it, almost 7 years to the day, right? Like
Yeah.
it was close to April, May where we first got together. I think we first actually started shoutcasting way back when. It feels like an eternity ago. Because it bloody was. So let's just get into this one real quick. Jake, just looking at the bans that have come through, I'm not seeing any specific target bans other than the Vega. I think Tryndamere is very specific to Oceania, yes, but Refury and most players now just play the pick. I think it is a flex for Mammoth, so perhaps that's why you ban it on red. But the Vegas just take away from Refury.
And noted on the other side, we've got the Hecarim that's let all the way through. Triple support ban from Mammoth all the way to Beats. We talked a lot about the bottom lane of Peace being big. And there's one thing that did slip through. It is the Caitlyn that was mentioned before. So they're going to try and lock this in. And Rusty, I wonder if we get a strong bottom lane as they go straight towards the jungle instead.
It has to be expected from Mammoth that Caitlyn will get locked in, right? Chaeon Beats are probably the best Cait Lux that we've seen in the LCO.
Yep.
Very rarely let through. So if you're going to confidence pick an Ezreal in response, I feel like it has to be a Karma or something with it, or you just kind of open the gates, right, to the Cait Lux lose lane situation. So I like the Karma, but I'm not going to say that Ez Karma outright wins. If one bind hits, you're still in a lot of trouble. So you have to run Cleanse in that lane.
So we go down the predicted path. All right, bot 2v2 set up quite nicely. It sets a nice tone to open us up into this game. As for the other couple of bans, with solo lane is still left open available. Rusty, I'm going to throw the Gwen out there. What else do you want to see?
Yeah, Gwen's a big one, actually. We've started to see that pretty actively banned at the moment. I think beyond that, it's hard to say exactly where our Oceanic teams will go with their top lane ban, picks rather, besides the Graves that you've just seen banned away. So that has basically been the most successful blind pick top laner at the moment, which to me is probably a good thing that they banned it away on Peace's side, being a TN-centric team a lot of the time.
Yeah.
They will probably go for a mid laner fourth into a TN counter. So getting rid of the good blind tops for Mammoth.
I think as well, you know, when we're talking about good mid lane blinds too, things like Orianna still up and available with the Jarvan. Lots of synergy there. Tien getting banned away by the Gnar. That is absolutely huge across multiple regions in 12.4 with the whole breaker. Rusty with mid lane, you know, being talked about here. Orianna, Vex is still up and available here for Peace.
Yeah, Rise is probably the one they'll look
There you
at,
go.
though, I think, above all else. I like the Orianna point that you bring up, because I've been talking about Orianna all week, but we just haven't seen it. You know, like a lot of our mid laners don't seem to have a preference to that option. There is a couple Zoe players in the league, but Rise just kind of stands above the herd, I think, for a lot of mid laners right now. So that is, I would say, the predicted outcome. You still have a couple of things like a flexible Renekton if you really wanted to. But I think because you've got a Jarvan jungle, you probably wouldn't do that.
Okay, well, let's see. You were talking about it before. Counter pick for Tien. There is a possibility. I like that Mammoth started getting rid of some of the range, though, after the Gnar. The Jace taken off the board from Tien. And with that strong topside down, the Rise you mentioned, going to add a bit of presence. And Rusty, I'm already seeing Peace wanting to just hit bot over and over.
Oh my god, yeah, it's going to be very prototypical for Peace. I think what they're missing now is just a good isolated counter pick for top lane.
Yep.
And then they'll be cruising. for Mammoth, you know, Ezreal Karma, very good at diffusing, can have some decent lane control. Karma Hecarim's a nice combo for setting up ganks, but you really want something that can force priority in mid, so it could be a Zoe angle. That is not a Zoe, that's quite the opposite.
Fizz, okay, never been picked before. Thank you for welcoming me, Mammoth. Now, in the past, that has been top or mid. I guess we'd find out exactly where it goes. Mid, most likely?
Yeah, but I mean, look, we're going to wait and see.
Wait, who knows?
You blind picking Fizz or Cass top lane is going to be a bit how you're going. Expecting just a blind top laner here like the Gragas. Yeah,
all right.
Way more sense to be made from that one. Beast is actually hovering one of Tron's specific champions that he plays that he countered a Gragas with once. So
Let's see if it gets picked
hover.
up. Because it's been left with the top lane counter pick. We get the Fizz up against the Rise, and the final pick for Peace, it would work quite nicely with a Poppy instead. Now, Poppy in a solo lane, have you had much of this in the LCO? We have had absolutely none in the LPL.
I think we had one yesterday from Mammoth.
Oh.
If memory serves. So this is an interesting one to me. There is a lot of merit in Poppy against Hecarim, Fizz, and Gragas specifically, but I'm surprised that Peace have gone for something like the Poppy. Just full stop, right? Like that's it's not necessarily a TN go-to option. He's known more for the carries. Gragas, you would say, is a free lane, and he's presumably veered away from that one. We'll have to see where these champions do end up. It should just be Rise mid, Poppy top, but that one that's an oddball pick in my mind.
Oh man, just looking at the Fizz, like I'm kind of excited to run into this one. For Mammoth, as we come on in, we're talking about it at the start of show, but Mammoth is a team tied up with Kanga Esports at the moment. No one's out of playoffs. This is such a great split where everything being so close, every game kind of counting, sounds like a meme in other regions, but here actually means so much. And Mammoth pulling out the Fizz in the mid lane versus RP. Rusty, give me the lowdown here. Does Refury just have to win the lane and then win it again?
I just can't help but feel like at any point where Refury wants to have kill pressure into a Rise, he'll either be not laning against the Rise or the Rise will have magic resistance, right?
Right.
Like, I see Fizz as has to run Ignite, has to look for kill threat level 3, level 6 are the two big breakpoints. But one of the other redeeming features of Fizz, just full stop, I think we've all experienced it in solo queue, is he's always in other lanes. He just disappears from mid, he's just all in ganking bottom. Has one of those champion kits similar to like Elise, right? Where diving is just a cakewalk. You just walk under the turret, you can use the E to reset turret aggro at any point. So I think there is a lot of potential for Fizz to be getting around the map, but I still think that Rise just kind of operates like a good Fizz in a lot of ways, as long as he's not at risk of dying in his 1v1.
A fair point. Once that Realm Warp comes up as well, we'll start tracking where he moves around the map. Chown and Beats get a strong bottom lane 2v2. Voice and Rocco matching it here with Karma Ezreal. We'll be watching that lane too closely as LCO, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be on the main broadcast as we run into our first game of the night. It is the third round robin coming up, and as we finish up and get closer towards the end of the split, we open the final third with a Fizz. And on the line, we do have Midlord coming over from Peace. And Midlord, welcome first of all. Second of all, before I ask the main question, dude, you're versing a Fizz. Did you see this coming?
Yeah, true. Like we revenge yesterday, right? So I'm so happy of the third win.
Yeah, I feel like, look, coming through draft, there's a lot of influence globally. I want you to tell me a little bit about how your draft is being affected. What regions, what influence are you taking for the current Peace lineup?
It's hard to say because like we are one patch later than any other region, right? So we just kind of find some information from live server of other region like LPL Super Server and LCK Korean server.
Because you know LPL now as well, going into Super Server, so there's going to be a lot more information up and available for you. Midlord, we'll leave it there. Good luck in the game, and good luck against this Fizz with
Thank
Ignite
you.
in mid lane. Thank you. Rusty, Fizz opens, right? That's the first opening point. I'll leave it there. Electrocute, Ignite in the mid lane, and you did talk about how this interaction worked. But I'm more curious about the first 3 levels and see what Refury could do.
Yeah, I mean, more often than not, in mid lane, you'll see a Fizz just losing until he wins. It's kind of like Kiana, if that makes sense to you. Kiana doesn't really have the best laning phase until she has access to all 3 abilities, and that's where a lot of the trading actually comes into play. There's a lot of outplay potential there as well. Skill expression belongs to Fizz. So I do kind of personally compare it to Kiana, and loves a good roam. So we're going to be closely looking at mid, probably looking at the health values of the lane more than the CSD, and just seeing how that becomes a big factor. And then you have to look at what junglers will be doing in absence of perhaps mid priority for the likes of Mammoth, where Appy should be able to force that one in these first couple of waves.
Look at what Lisa's doing, right into the enemy jungle. Mayfan making his path down. He's level 3 while Lisa starts up the Krug camp, but when the bottom lane's a priority, they already want to set this up nice and early before Voice and Rocco knows what's coming.
Yeah, so this isn't going to be a dive by any means. Oh, actually, we'll hold that for mid.
Could be something bigger mid. Uppy going to get caught out here. Rooted down. Re Fury with the setup onto the Fizz. Ignite is available. Uppy running for the hills. He has Flash available and wants that phase rush proc, but over the wall he goes as Re Fury follows up.
Wow.
He Flash ignites. That's aggression at its finest as Uppy wants to turn this. Beats is on the way. He just gets some trade damage off, and meanwhile in the bottom lane, flashes over Burn. The aggression match, Peace on the board, and first blood belongs to them.
It's the ultimate long cod from Peace, it feels like. The fact that Appy flashed into the Drake pit, I feel like the play was over. But Re Fury, seeing red, right, wants to get the solo kill, wants the first blood, wants to put the Rise behind. What he doesn't know, and what Mammoth's bottom lane doesn't know, is that Lisa was sitting there doing Krugs, just waiting for a chance to strike. So opportunity presents itself from just the over-aggression. And now mid lane looking a bit rougher than it was.
Yeah, both summoners down, all 4 across the board, and Uppy makes himself known once again. A really good start for Peace, and as you look at the replay here, Rusty, Lisa just turning this around as Mammoth go too far forward.
Yeah, Mammoth kind of, they see Lisa, first of all, right? This is not a surprise I've been hiding type of gank. This is just them walking into him, getting flag dragged and then bound by a luck. So really rough death for them, actually. The kind of death that perhaps shouldn't have happened in hindsight.
Going to cost him a lot. First blood goes over to Lisa here in the jungle matchup. A camp ahead and starting to clear his own. I took away the Krugs from Mayfan, who's making his own back now as well. So as Peace pull that out, we start with a 1k gold lead, and we start with a Jarvan that is going to be very happy in this game. And Rusty, considering that Free Fury now with no summoners available, Uppy as well, I think we should pay more attention towards mid lane and see if those summoners can be...
Yeah, look, I have a feeling that it's going to be how it abuses the rest of the map again, though. Like, there is obviously worlds where no sums on a Fizz. Rise is going to have a lot more priority, but I do feel like, you know, a tier hard-pushing phase rush Rise is just going to be about pushing in while harassing, just trying to keep the Fizz down, keep the fish at bay, and then working with Lisa. So we do look at mid, we look at how that influences junglers. We've seen nice early moves, a lot of aggression from both teams. Mayfun's initial gank in mid was quietly achieving as well. The timing was perfect. And top lane's been super quiet, Jake. Nothing to be seen at all.
Yeah, just good trading, and Tron the Pom actually under wave. Look at his health bar on the side, he is screwed. Dangerously low, but it is a Gragas. The passive will help him out. And while top's quiet, you know, we kind of expected that one, seeing Poppy versus the Gragas. And I'm gonna elaborate on your point as well. Uppy and Re Fury, how they influence with their junglers. We're getting close to that 6 point. We've already seen enough action to make me happy for the first 5 minutes. Uppy close to getting towards that Realm Warp. Re Fury with Chum the Waters as well. We've got Dragon, we got Rift Herald in a couple of minutes as well. We'll kind of be waiting to get the setup from objectives for these two teams.
Yeah, Lisa just going to staunch him out of the river and controlling the Dragon side of the map. Most teams will be flipping for the 8-minute Herald, you would expect once again. But Lisa is going to take those first steps. This is something that can be predicted by Mammoth, just because, again, Re Fury's ward that was placed in River was cleared by Lisa. So they know something could be up. The question is, what do they do about it? Because it is still a Caitlyn Lux, and it is a cannon wave that crashes.
As Mayfan spotted out by Beats. You can see going forward, Voice aggressively. Cheon takes the flag and drag, forces the flash and the heal coming out. One more hit would have got the Peace 80 carry, but it's Voice who steps too far forward and pays the double summoner price.
I really like the killer instinct from Voice, but I just think there was a better place and time for that, right? The fact that Cheon is able to just stand and deliver, and both summoners are expended, means it is just objectively bad now for the side of Mammoth. This Drake is at risk. I don't know if this is something you complete. If Mammoth choose to contest this one, I feel like Re Fury will be close to 6 right now as well.
Getting there, but will it even matter? Because Uppy in this lane is beating him down. That's a 20 CS lead. A big wave crashing against the turret, so let's call it 15. But still, after we've come back from that little trade, as explosive cast happens to the top side, Uppy doing very well. So priority given, and really good setup here for Peace up in this early game.
That is such a hole breaker, by the way, for the Poppy. The fact that he has stage first, I mean,
Good stuff.
well, you can kind of expect Poppy to be someone who's good with a lot of base stats in general. She's a very good fighter-type champion. But AD is not always the most often seen. You can see how much damage she really does. Crazy trades, and a hull breaker is just so cheap. Gragas will start to suffer with the necessity of a tier, perhaps, in this matchup.
As Mayfun makes himself up to the top side. Tien's level 6, but who does he get to hammer down? Explosive cast not available, you're right, but the barrel roll will slow him down. Goes to the heroic charge, flashes away. Mayfun slowed down, and Tien will get out of there, but a summoner once again burnt away.
I feel like Tien was maybe a couple of seconds of having the steadfast W ready to stop the Hecarim, so the timing was great from Mammoth. They had their window, but realistically the kill threat was pretty low. Just because, again, Gragas no cask to actually pull a Tien away from the turret if the flash was used. So probably just would have been a trade if they'd committed to that one, and they'd rather just have wave control, lane control, and a free cheat recall for the side of Tron.
You can see what it cost him in the bottom lane, Rusty. There's free turret plating available for Cheon and B2. Once again doing so well. It's pickaxe, double longsword, Caitlyn from the early trade, and spotting out Mayfun. They just feel comfortable, able to push that in and take some free gold. Oh, flash. That was ballsy. That's what you would call great as Voice goes forward, knowing you won't get rooted up. But the burst damage from Cheon and Beats, and Cheon now has ace in the hole. So they're going to be careful because they'll get one shot.
Yeah, Beats, we have to actually look at what his experience bar would be. Lux is one of those champions that doesn't often want to leave lane unless it's just a really good moment. You want that experience as soon as possible. And if you couple a Lux laser with a Caitlyn ultimate, blocking the Kate ult suddenly gets a lot more dangerous.
Yeah.
And people would die. For example, Rocco, who's already half health in that trade. But Beats no flash, Mayfun level 6. Keep that in mind.
There's the ulti. Rocco doesn't even try to inspire on that one. Beats getting close towards level 6 himself. Dragon being taken. Reef Fury going to spot that out. Remember, Chum the Water's available. Haven't seen it yet this game as Ghost has popped over the wall. Dragon taken, but Mayfun now turning on the support as Onslaught of Shadow comes through. Voice missing the Mystic shot. Healed up nicely. The Cataclysm laid down, but look at the backline. Cheon is untouched as Reef Fury has all in. Rocco picking up the kill on the back, and Voice running away, but a flash burn and a fizz to die. It's Peace with the objective. It's Peace with more blood.
Yeah, just way more damage overall for the fight, right? Health advantage before the fight starts. Rise ulting bottom.
Yeah, and that Realm Warp, it wasn't more blood, but now it definitely will be. As Uppy gets a kill. Now to Cheon. Voice trying to take it away, but the block from Uppy's not enough. Moves too far to the left, and Voice will be giving over his life. A double kill, a 3-0 rise, and Peace still ending out on top.
Yeah, no shutdowns to be given away by any means. It is just winning for Peace overall. We'll see this again. Sick bind from Beats, but he has no flash and is really mispositioned. Mayfun recognizes that, and just the audacity of Beats to survive here, by the way. Skill shots missing. Fizz ultimate not going towards him, it went towards the bulk of the pack. And Cheon's just going to disengage with only the heal really used in this. Free hitting the entire time. Flashes forwards. And then they spot their opportunity for the follow-up play. Crazy win overall for the side of Peace and the objective.
And they're going to go again. Rusty, it's a dive in the top side that I'm looking forward to. No Cataclysm, but no worries. That was easy. And Lisa comes in for the final hit. Everything going right for Peace in this early game. There's 10 minutes in there, 3,000 gold up, and it looks like this MEC roster are running out of options.
Yeah, very early on, right? I mean, Tien is playing a tank top laner, but it is still a carry when you build these kind of items and play this kind of way.
Yep.
He'll always make it work, and just has so much priority in his 1v1 that he's able to set up these dives. It's not the first time we've seen Tron the Pom have no health right in top lane on this Gragas 1v1. So very easy for Peace to transition what was a bot lead into a map flip, but they're able to get up there with a bit of extra speed from the Lux and the Jarvan side to make a play top. Guarantees a free Herald, easy transition into a Herald summon top lane if you want it. It's got 3 plates left to break that one before Mammoth can do a thing bottom.
Found the one to get the gold as well if it happens. I want to point out how dangerous it is to have a Rise, a Jarvan, Rusty. A comp that can mobilize quite quickly with a lead and with some early broken down turrets. And that's belonging to them as Mayfun wants to steal, but Tien's not letting him get away with it. Right into the wall, smacked on up, and brings him back to RP. Another kill to bite the dust as Rocco's over the wall. Voice goes on in for it, but this time RP's going to block Tien, biting his lip as he's trying to survive. Inspire, but a heroic charge. Ignite down. Tien ticking, but he won't drop, and Peace are playing with the blood in this game.
They're trying to secure a second charge in top lane as well, and it will be successful. Peace make the play top lane, and then where they have a numbers disadvantage, Appy and Tan, the solo laners, just come in huge, win the skirmish very easily, numbers disadvantage or no. They're able to get kills, stop any kind of trade play. And I think you said it was 4,000 gold about a minute ago.
Look at this.
Look where we are.
Almost 6,000. Numbers disadvantage, Rusty, who cares?
I feel like Mayfun could live here, but he chooses to use the dash forwards. And it just gets right into the range of Appy. You know, you've got the blast cone there. The shield was potentially available from Rocco. Also, that was pretty sloppy pathing from Rocco. He gets there super late, doesn't actually play to protect. Plays for the fight. And speaking of, Voice was just seeing montage moments in his head. But he's just being played for the full by the fancy feet of Peace.
And to be fair, Voice this game has been impressive in the sense that he's wanted to take the riskier trades, right? You talked about it in the early game. Wrong timing, but the right mindset. And even though he's behind, Voice still does a decent amount of damage. So I'll keep that in the back of my mind. It is a 6k gold lead, though, and we've got to be realistic. Peace have taken over this early game by force, and it's been great play after great play in front of some of those neutrals. We've now got mythic items as well, Rusty, with the whole breaker Poppy up at that top side too. Gale Force on Cheon. Very strong members of Peace.
You know, one big thing that sticks out to me from this game, right? Like, how did we get to this position only 13 minutes in?
Yeah.
I feel like it's knowing when you have actual windows to fight or to make plays, and Mammoth just kind of took their punch at a level 2 Fizz. Like, that's not a... The first thing we said in this game was you probably want level 3 to have a shot. This is going to hurt.
Yeah, Fury going to get hit with everything. They're not even waiting for him to get out with his E. He'll take Ace in the hole, and that's a lot of ultis burned as Teleport comes through to stop the play from happening further. Tron the bomb with an ulti available, but the rest of Peace have already disengaged.
It looks like it's going to be the zone use just outright rushed here by Fury also. So looking for those plays off cooldown at every single objective fight. So far down in gold, though, it's going to be hard to do it. I mean, Tron teleporting in, like you mentioned, it's just they want to fight for this trade. This is their do or die mode.
Well, Tien's walking down. So it's going to be 5 versus 5. Rocco is the one who gets Everfrost. He sticks his thumb where it doesn't belong. Beat locks him down. The first kill goes over to Pete. Explosive cast good from Tron, but he's getting low in the process. And Chum the Waters doesn't do too much. And Cheon buys his place with the flashback. Finally, the Fizz adds a threatening influence as the Realm Warp is going to bring in not a good voice here and not a good end to meet his end. Rusty, it's double kill once again, and Peace are obliterating them.
They're only losing one member. The Drake will be secured. Yes, it is your ADC that dies, but he is currently a support if you actually look at the scoreboard. Well played by Mayfun. I think that's the one big standout for me from that skirmish, but you're fighting in a losing situation. You're trying to win an uphill battle by default, and even if you go equal in damage in the fight, they're so far ahead, and it all starts with Rocco being just egregiously positioned. Great cast from Tron to push beats in, and then great usage of spells from Mayfun to not just hit the fear, but to hold back on the E. It kind of sets up Fury to get in, right? But at this point, you're scattered. And a scattered team means a very dead Ezreal and no objective control at all.
Realm was just such a pain for the repositioning. 4-0-6 on this rise, by the way. Arpi was saying in the interview before that it comes down to his laning. How does he do? He did pretty well within the lane, but again, we saw the level 2 versus level 3 rise play. We saw Fury in a bad position. And it just feels like Arpi has been running with it here in this rise, that he's going to be getting towards his second item soon. And is continuously threatening with the Realm Warps here in this supposed mid-game. 7,000 gold lead, Rusty. It has to be a mid-game by now.
Oh yeah, we're well past it. We're at probably the most terrifying point in the game to be dealing with a Caitlyn Lux composition, especially if the rest of the team has any kind of side lane threat or ability to move around the map, right? You've got Lux, Caitlyn posted in mid and a Jarvan protecting. That's just a winning 3v3 full stop. And then you've got a Ryze that will be winning whatever side lane he is in. It's not like the Fizz can match that one in a long lane without turrets. And because there's no turrets, it's so easy for them to transition from a wave push into a mid rotate. And so constantly at risk of being dove in mid. If there's any team that's going to try and take that shot, it's Peace.
And Rocco flashing away. The shot already thrown out. It beats with the binding yet again. I also like you talk about Arpi being able to push up the side wave. On top of that, there's no vision in the topside jungle for Mammoth, and they're about to get flanked from Lisa. This is turning ugly as Tien spotted on the right side, Lisa now on the left. Cataclysm anyway. He's sent backwards, but it doesn't matter. The Wombo in the pit. It's an absolute hot pot here from Peace. as MEC are obliterated once more. A great binding as Tron's ulti would have been great if they weren't so far behind.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The wallet is definitely the biggest point of difference here, you know, but Peace are aware of it, and Peace are definitely going to abuse it. Mammoth struggling to keep up, even if their team fighting is going well. It is now a 10,000 gold difference. That mid dive was predictable, but can you do anything to stop it? Refury just forgets about TN for a second. You can't do that one. The dive mid, I mean, that's so far forward from Lisa, but he's managed to buffer the flag drag with the fear from Hecarim, so he still gets out, and Chayon has legitimately just signed a contract to Mammoth. That's how far in he is. But it just doesn't matter, because the rest of his team's so far ahead, right? And the wallet is just a large diff.
That's a Jackie Love kind of feeling there, right? You know, that like doesn't care at that point. He's just only going to go forward, so... Chayon at least gets my respect. Might not have kills in this game, but still remember, he's doing so much damage here on this Caitlyn, almost the second item. You can say that about anyone about Peace right now, though, because they're 10,000 gold ahead at 18 minutes into the game. And when we talk about Peace needing the win here today, and then Direwolves later, needing to take a loss for Peace to secure their playoff berth, is a very good sign that Peace are still holding the momentum of a top 2 team here in the LCO. Rusty.
Yeah, got a flank. So is Refury, actually.
And he get anything. Chum the Waters needs to come out. Onto Chayon, no. It's right in the middle though, zones out. Up, he doesn't care though. AoE from the right stuff powering through as they're onto the Fizz. Refury regrets the play. As Peace now with the 5v4 in their favor against the wall. Mayfarn and Domino's going down. Rocco the third. Everything they do ends up being, unfortunately, wrong.
Tron the Palm has to flash there at the last second as well because there's no turret to protect him. The It is already gone. And Peace will just be able to pick up that Herald easy as you like, transition all the way down to the Drake in a minute after they break mid, and maybe even get a second charge off onto the inhibitor turret. Pings are already there, Hysteric, so it's certainly possible, but they're not going to overcommit themselves to this one, it seems like, with a flag for disengage already played.
Peace is trying at least get the auto attacks down, and he does it. Flag and drags out of there. Mayfarn not going to chase, so inhibitor turret broken through mid, top side inner down. Mid inner down, of course, with the inhibitor too. And we've got a dragon coming up, but at this point, like, yeah. I don't know. You got to tell me what Mammoth can do.
Listen, there's nothing Mammoth can do, but what they are going to do is fight. Like, if there's one thing that we've learned from Mammoth in this game is that they're going to go down swinging.
Yeah.
It is becoming the drunken bar fight that you would hope from them in a losing situation. This is also, like, just a big conversation, but for spectators of the game of League, I think we can all acknowledge, you know, with the gold difference on our screen with God Vision, this game is very doomed unless Peace make multiple mistakes. So it's enjoyable to see a team like Mammoth say, well, I mean, let's just do it. All right, let's just flip the burger and pray they make the mistake. It's better than doing nothing and losing slowly.
Agreed. You know, Fizz ult's getting thrown out on cooldown. Off a cooldown, I should say, from Refury. Mayfarn, I want to see the same as third Dragon going to be coming through here, and you're right. Mammoth want to fight with the TP coming through, and Peace are ready to put them in the coffin as Chayon is not a part of this for now. They move into River, but Tien is there. It just sends Mayfarn back home the rest of the fight. Here's the numbers disadvantage as Refury caught in the middle, wants Chayon to go with him. As he goes golden though, those traps are waiting. He gets rooted down and gives over a kill, and now the front to back continues as a double kill to the Caitlyn that previously had no kills. Mayfarn with a fear, but that was easy too. Lisa with a Cataclysm follow-up, and Rocco now running for his life. This one in the dirt, 22 kills, about to be 23, and Peace are making a strong contender for a top 2 team in the LCO.
I don't know if anyone caught that, but Refury actually paused to applaud and thumbs up his opponents acing them. Or getting 4 of them. That's how one-sided that one turned into. Wow. Refury gives them a round of applause for their efforts, and once again, Peace will get another team fight. It's a bloody game of League of Legends, but it is entertaining nonetheless. Yeah. But still chances for Mammoth nearing the 0 point. And it's so hard to play a losing Fizz into a Caitlyn. Just as a quick aside to that, every single time you try and zone his or E outplay, there's just a cupcake at your feet. That's a nightmare.
Lux as well, same deal. Like
True.
Binding comes through because you're in stasis. We will look at this again, and you're right, Mammoth did put an attempt in to try and steal.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with the front line here because you've got Tan that comes in, just removes the Hecarim, will go straight onto Voice. It says no shot. Refury, not intending to find Chayon, actually just flashes into him and says, oh, better have a crack at the closest target.
Yeah.
presses Zonias and lands on a Caitlyn trap and dies. And from this point, Rise, I mean, there is no such thing as a front to back when Rise exists. It's like a Kai'Sa for 5 people. Just flips the fight on its head and suddenly you're trapped.
And it's scary. I'll be level 13 here. 2 items pick up the Fimbulwinter fully stacked. They're starting the Baron. Of course they are. Mammoth needs something as the flash out from the back of the pit. Look at what's happening in the bot lane. Meanwhile, as the Cataclysm comes down, Lisa not really scared of this team, but maybe should be as he drops on through. Baron helping out as Reef Fury hitting the head by a shot from Chaeon. It's a double kill once again. And
Bayfun stays.
It's gonna keep going.
Oh, they found him.
Yeah, easy to brush, and not for much longer. Voice trying here, really trying. Pete's buying time, and ulti matters not. Chaeon chasing down the rest of the piece, keeping him at bay. True Shot Barrage narrowly missing as he's doing a pretty good job. Voice is so far behind. The fact that he's making this competitive is a bit of respect.
Voice has taken this. This is a skill matchup, if you ask Voice. He's ready for a shot at it. They've scattered.
He wanted it before. Gets hit with the final spark.
He almost ate onto the trap, by the way. That was really close.
But he didn't. That's amazing. Beats poking his head out. He just wants a kill for this play.
Oh,
Giant presses Q though. And then it's over.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well,
let's go ahead and do him like that.
And Rocco now wants part of it as well. Everyone wants the highlight reel here from Mammoth.
Reef Fury 1v1ing Tian as well. He's definitely struggling, but
he flashed for that.
That was fancy. Cover some distance, will get out. I feel like the play was originally Mammoth hitting Baron. And here we are.
That was a minute and a half ago. That was almost 2 minutes ago. Not too surprised, honestly. Baron, this will go down. Mayfan, get the steal, brother, but Tiet exists, and unfortunately, that Hecarim's getting zoned out. So Baron goes through, and now that Mammoth are here to the party, Peace just want to say hello. Another kill, and 29-7, the kills keep going up.
Yeah, this is going to be a game that's going to reflect incredibly nicely on Peace's stats. And it's not actually stat padding. It's Mammoth fighting so much, but they were so far behind so early that respawn timers are so low that it just keeps happening. And it's actually been really difficult for Peace to outwardly break the base and just, you know, have that one-punch team fight into a victory. They broke the bot inhibitor. Mid lane should be very sure to follow super soon. And I feel like you don't even really need to play 2 lanes, but with a Rise ulti, you may as well, right? Like, just play mid inhibitor, just go for the top inhib. Even Rise ult, look, he's playing soccer if he gets to Enemy Fountain. We'll call that 1 point for Mammoth.
He just looks like he's going deep for it, and maybe took that to a new meeting. After with a Realm Warp in, and again, this is Tank Rise as, yep, Mayfan to his death, of course. What did you expect, guys? Reef Fury trying again, and this will put the finishing touches in as the wave is at the next turret helping out. And Peace, you're right, Rusty, this will make for a dominant look here as they take Mammoth to new lows, send them into the grave, and Peace now move to 12 wins, holding firm that second spot in the LCO.
34-7 is the final kill score in a 25-minute game. Normally you would say it's a fast-paced game if both teams are above the minutes, right? Kills per minute, but Peace have done it themselves, +7. That is an absurd game. It was so one-sided, and it started so early, Jake.
Yeah, it really did. The Fizz pick didn't come into fruition like we wanted to see. Like, you know, props to Reef Fury for pulling it out, but what we saw, the early levels, not going into their liking. I think the bot side play, like, this was the beginning of the end, where Lisa got himself a free double.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that I would take from that game, it's just plain and simple. Mammoth did too much too early, I think, and then the aggression, the killer instinct from them was nice, but they were doing it all from a deficit where if you would say you're the worst team against the better team on paper, you probably don't want to make that early mistake.
That's true. Unfortunate, Mac. Welcome back, sir. That was a quick one. I guess you're getting your dinner a bit earlier tonight.
Look, it was a fun one. My dinner's ready, mate. I'm just trying to blitz through this one so I can go and bloody eat a couple of turkey burgers on offer. Oh, yeah, get those gains. Now, look, Mammoth, they were here for a good time, not a long time. Like, it was like a 25-minute game or something at the end, and they were just smiles on the player cams from about, this 12 sort of minute mark where they were like, okay, the chances of us winning may be out the window now, so let's just fight. Let's just see what we can do. And Peace, they were happy to take all those kills, happy to just grumble in the jungle, essentially, because that's where it kept on happening. Mammoth, knowing that they had to play for objectives, had to try to get something going in their favor to try to get back into the game. But again, look, Peace positioning in these fights, damage dished out by them was ridiculous, and look, once we get to the stats, you'll see that as well. Everyone had so many assists. I think Kitty wants to talk about that when we bring her back in. But look, there was just so much cooperation because there was just fights going on everywhere. And you can see even in all these highlights, right, there's always 3, 4 of these Peace members on the screen at once, all just looking to fight together, all just looking to play around one another. And that is it. You know, that's how you lock down another win. That's how you lock down a 12th. And now half of the storyline is done here, right? Because if Peace got this W today and Direwolves lose, then that means Peace will be locking in a playoffs position as well. So, you know, that's something that we can figure out if that happens, you know, later on today. But for now, Peace played a great game, an absolutely great game of League of Legends, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, they just played really solid League, and I think the best part is you could see out there they were having fun, right? They were just having a good time.
Yeah.
Their Caitlyn was, unironically, a support for the first 15 minutes of the game. Everyone was stealing kills around him left, right, and center, but still got the 20k damage done. And it was just a team victory from Peace, where Mammoth had no choice but to throw the book at them.
Look at the goal difference.
It's just gone.
21,000.
Get out of here. Boom. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think that's in hours. So you can see, you look in 20 minutes, boom, straight off the graph. So that's what's going on here. But that was a fun one. 3 Drakes coming through, but not long enough to go and get the soul. A little bit of Baron action, bit of Bazza action. I was really hoping Mayfarm, you know, he has the Hecker him, so he could have just gone for the ult in if it was available and at least, you know, smacked that smite button. But didn't happen. Look, ifs and buts at the end of the day. And I'm looking at Thean here. Have a look at his damage dealt. The man, he didn't have a huge amount of assists, but he did fend off, you know, 1v2s, 1v3 situations. And I believe he came out with a big egg in that death column as well. So, you know, little props to him for playing so well, playing his role. And he's got that hull breaker, so you could tell he was looking for a cheeky little split push all game as well. Thoughts on that one, Jack?
Yeah, no, exciting. Rusty and I were talking about it in the game. And, you know, Rusty, I don't know if you've all been seeing, but in his solo queue, he's been spamming, especially when you're with me, because you don't care if we lose. You've been spamming your Hullbreaker champion. And, like, there are so many champions that work with Hullbreaker at the moment. And just seeing Poppy up in that top lane, like, it looked so easy for him. Of course, he did the most damage. Always the isolated 1v1s. Poppy's early burst as a tank.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous damage coming out from the item. Kitty is a fan of doing damage on the Rift too, so let's bring her back in. Thoughts on the game, and also who do you have for the interview?
I do like doing damage on the Rift, but I don't think I will ever be able to compete with Tian's damage at 22k on that Poppy, so let's bring in Tian for the interview. Hello Tian, congrats on your win. Let's talk about your Poppy. So you actually had the highest damage on a Hullbreaker Poppy building Sunder a second. Walk me through the build, walk me why you decided to last pick the Poppy.
So yesterday my coach asked me what side did I want to play, or like everyone on the team, and I just said, because I'm pretty sure in Chinese, all my teammates say that Poppy's name in Chinese is Tristana with the hammer. So I just said I wanted to play Tristana with the hammer no matter what. So I just played Poppy. And in solo queue, I just built Hullbreaker and Divine Sunderer, and I think the champion does a lot of damage. And if he picked anything that was like I could play Poppy into, as long as it wasn't an impossible matchup, I was just gonna lock in Poppy anyways. So maybe it's a bit of Among Us gameplay because I didn't think my teammates knew that, but I knew that. So yeah, that's why I locked in Poppy.
Well, great seeing Poppy once again on the stage, because we saw Poppy last night as well, but not doing as much damage as you. So let's talk about drugs. So Ryze, Caitlyn, and Lux were all opened by Mammoth. You know, we all know that Peace is very fond of those champions. Out of 10, how satisfied were you with your draft?
I mean, you just like, I respect Mammoth because I think they knew that we were going to pick these champs. I think one way to play against teams is give them their most comfortable champs. They definitely had something prepared. Like, yeah, he just picked Fizz. I don't think it's the best answer, but it is a answer. So credits to them. But, I think we could have played anything, and I would have been happy.
So you're telling me that Poppy was always in the back of your mind coming into today, and you guys had to draft around the Poppy maybe?
No, I think I just was a terrorist in the terms of like my teammates. Like, I just wanted to play this champion. Like, I was L9, I want to play Poppy, but none of them knew that I was just gonna lock in Poppy.
Well, you know, we can do some L9 on the Rift, but None in LCO, come on. Well, not best of luck. Congrats on your win again, Tian, and hopefully you have a good night's rest.
Okay, see you.
Always good to hear from him. Man was playing Among Us. Was just going to be locking that one in no matter what. What are your thoughts on that? You know, it's like Kevlin. Absolute man apparently just locked it in yesterday. He didn't say anything to anyone.
You
Saw
know,
it was open.
You know what I did like about that build though is it wasn't just Hull Breaker, it was Divide, Sunder, Death's Dance. Like my man's was here to do damage. He actually got it done. So big respect.
Yeah, he actually had like huge mitigation as well. Having a look at the stats there. But he was not the Dare MVP. It was someone else playing imposter, stealing this one away. Maybe a knife in the back, and it was the big man in mid, Appy, running around the rift, helping out his teammates, and just dishing out that damage as well. 21%. And he's loving it. All right, Jake, talk to me quickly.
Oh,
You like this one?
Yeah, I love it. If you had Dare Ice Coffee coming down from you from the heavens, bro, you embrace that. You embrace that, just like he did in this game. His rise was great, and in the pre-game interview, we heard from RP, as long as he wins his lane, as long as he finds himself in a great position, he doesn't flip it. He's going to be pretty happy with his performance. And I think he can be happy with that one because RP was such a big key maker, especially with the Realm Warps to the back of the fights, as Rusty said within the game.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And you've given me an idea. Maybe the most valuable player of the split can choose which one of us has to take a Dare Iced Coffee shower. What do you reckon? Yeah?
A shower.
I'm keen. Look, you just do it in the shower. You get everyone pouring it on you, and then...
Everyone, no one's covered in the shower when I'm in there. I'm just sorry.
Well, you're closed. It has to be... We're not going to do it without filming it for content, Jake. We don't.
Okay.
We
closed
can
part.
be in the same vicinity here. We're all in Australia.
The closed
We're not
part
all
was
over the
important,
globe
Mac.
like you have in the LPL.
I'll get
now,
my canoe
all right,
ready.
I've had enough out of you. All right, you guys, I haven't had enough out of you. So make sure at LCO on Twitter and show us where you've touched grass before, because that's what we're interested in. And look, we got to jump on into a break to get into that second match of the day. It's going to be a pretty spicy one, so go get yourself hydrated, go get yourself something on Menulog, and we'll see you after the break for match number 2. It's PGG and Kanga.
On top of that, there's no vision in the topside jungle for Mammoth, and they're about to get flanked from Lisa. This is turning ugly as Tian spotted on the right side, Lisa now on the left. Cataclysm anyway. He's sent backwards, but it doesn't matter. The Wombo in the pit. It's an absolute hot pot here from Peace as MEC are obliterated once more. A great binding as Tron's ulti would have been great if they